At a home in Bel Air, everything was right with the world. Her parents named her Avery.
Avery.
She arrived perfect and with a smile. But just a few months old, her legs went limp. Something was wrong.
I just started screaming, and it just doesn't seem real.
What was real was spinal muscular atrophy, a rare genetic disorder. The legs first. Avery's use of her arms will be next. Then the ability to breathe. At best, doctors give her 18 months. So what do you do with that little time? You dance.
You like that?
Mike and Laura Kanahwadi took Avery's story online, created her own blog.
The reality is that this disease will take my life.
And offered her own bucket list, the moments, the memories they want her to have before she's gone.
Hey, Avery, you silly girl, look. Mike always told me we've got all the time in the world to cry. We can cry, when she's no longer here. But for now, we want to try and enjoy the time we do have with her and just make memories.
Memories like her first Easter, her first trip to college, her first innocent kiss, her first little girl tea party with her mom.
Oh, yummy.
All of this online for a reason.
We can watch her die or we can let her live. And through her letting her live, we're gonna try and educate other people about this so that they don't have to go through it too.
SMA is a genetic disorder. There is no cure and very little research. But parents can get tested to find out if they are carriers, if it's something they could pass to a child.
It's very aggravating that no one knows about this.
I refuse to think that my daughter will die in vain.
So Mike and Laura promised to chronicle every moment in a very short life so that we remember Avery, remember a disease that needs more research, and remember how they spent each day.
We didn't sit there and cry that day. We sat there and we made memories with our daughter.
And lots of them.
Memories they will keep alive, hoping someday they lead to a cure. Kevin Reece, KHOU, 11 News.
Two little girls blessed and in danger because they will always have their daddy's heart. KHOU 11 News reporter Kevin Reece tells us about a rare disorder so that you can consider being tested as well.
We got married on July 24th of 2004.
Kristen and Tyson Wallace were happy. They had everything they wanted except a family. That would take 7 more years. A medical struggle Kristen bound in books to remember it all. Like the day they first heard a heartbeat.
My husband had brought a camera and a video camera and he was going to video it and he dropped both of them when we heard the heartbeat. It was just, and he just couldn't stop crying.
And then March 12th, 2011.
It was the best moment of my life.
Twins, Eleanor and Olivia.
And he just kept whispering to me, we're finally a family, we're finally a family, it's so perfect. I'll never forget the look on his face. He kept saying, I finally have everything I've ever wanted. It was so perfect.
Yeah.
It was really perfect. It was a great day.
But those great days would only last another 10 months. January 18th, 9:17 in the morning.
Nobody would tell me what was going on. They just said he wasn't breathing, that he collapsed.
Tyson was only 30 years old. His heart ruptured. There was nothing doctors could do.
I never in a million years ever imagined that I would be 30 years old and not have my husband. He was my whole world, and we were so happy. And we finally had our family. And out of the blue, my entire world fell apart. He was perfect. He was fine. He was fine that morning.
It's a really silent killer, and you can have no clue that you have a problem. It's incredibly rare, with only a few hundred people that have been diagnosed.
The rare disorder that took Tyson is called Louis-Dietz syndrome, a silent killer that enlarges the aorta and aneurysm, stretches it until it can't stretch anymore.
If it's something that we could have prevented, I think if we had known about it, they would have done surgery on my husband and he could still be here, and my daughters would still have their father and I would still have my husband. You say hi.
But while Kristen still has her daughters, their dad's heart problem is genetic. The girls have it too.
So we found out right after they turned 1.
The average life expectancy is just 26 years.
The concern is that they will have an aneurysm that dissects and they will rupture their aorta at a young age, like in 20s and 30s, which is exactly what happened with their dad.
But this is where Kristen's books start talking about hope, because Tyson's tragic death gives his girls a fighting chance.
If this had to happen, maybe this is how we found out that we're gonna save my daughter's lives, because we never would have known about it. I would never sacrifice my husband for my daughters, but he did save their life.
Medication can slow the damage, and heart surgery may come at an earlier age.
All done, all done.
And it's been encouraging, actually, it really is. So hopefully we can slow down the progression of any of this. But what could have been done for him is what we're doing for the girls.
The blessing and the curse for Eleanor and Olivia is that they will always have their daddy's heart. But now doctors also have his warning as his last gift.
I will do whatever I can to honor my husband and his legacy, which is them. When I look at them, I see him. They look like him, they smile like him, they act like him. They are his little children. He gave me these children, and I'm gonna raise them knowing that their father loved them and their heavenly Father loves them even more, and that he's watching out for them, and that he is taking care of them. And I choose to believe that.
A belief that could help keep two daddy's girls alive.
I didn't go anywhere.
In Friendswood, Kevin Reece, KHOU 11 News. To the untrained eye, this might look like any other pregnancy sonogram until you look closely at this little girl's heart.
It was a very emotional day, you know.
The day, at just her 16th week of pregnancy, the doctors told Ashley Cardenas her baby's heart was growing outside the baby's chest.
This is a very rare congenital malformation.
So rare that it happens maybe 8 out of every 1 million births, and 90% are stillborn or die within hours. But Ashley Cardenas and her doctors,
The pregnancy was given to me for a reason.
decided to fight. Moments after birth by C-section, a children's hospital team of doctors performed open heart surgery, created space in the chest cavity, closed the skin around her tiny heart. It took 6 hours.
Look how little she is.
Hours later, Ashley touched her daughter for the first time. Her name is Audrina. She's 5 weeks old now and defying every odd.
She's doing quite well, doing very well, and we hope to move her out of the ICU soon.
No, I've yet to been able to hold her. Waiting patiently, but I'm waiting.
But this condition is so rare and usually so fatal that the first option Ashley was given early on was to decide if she wanted to terminate this pregnancy. Did you make the right choice?
Yes, I did. As you can tell, that little girl is here, and the best choice ever. She's here. She's made it this far. That's my baby. I would never give her back. And I would never wish that I made a different decision than I did.
A decision and a chance at life offered at Texas Children's Hospital. A rare heart abnormality turned today into a hopeful smile. In the Texas Medical Center, Kevin Reece, KHOU 11 News.
Oh, he's getting on, Barb! This crowd is going nuts!
The sounds from inside a mobile home in Porter are what you might expect.
Oh, my!
With two teenage brothers inside with Xbox controllers in hand. But when you look closer at 18-year-old Tyler Wirtz, you notice he's always wearing a strap over his shoulder.
Everybody looks at me different.
Is that hard sometimes?
Yeah, when people are just looking at you.
They stare because when he was just 6 years old, doctors told him he had muscular dystrophy, a variation called Becker muscular dystrophy. It damages his muscles, including his heart, his failing heart.
It is becoming significantly more common.
What's becoming more common is what doctors decided to do. They implanted an LVAD in his chest, a ventricular assist device, a pump that helps blood flow in and out of his heart. It's powered by a small computer. It runs on 2 batteries, which explains that strap over his shoulder, his lifeline he always has to carry. He's had it now.
Take this. Suck that.
For 2 years.
They said I probably wouldn't be here today. I think God gave me a second chance at life, really.
It's a miracle. It's just a miracle. It's just amazing that the technology and the things they can do now.
We thought it'd be our primary strategy to improve his quality of life, prolong his survival, and use it as a bridge to heart transplant depending upon how he's doing.
The problem for Tyler's family is that his condition is genetic. It killed his uncle Joey at the age of 18, a second uncle, Billy, at 29.
Both of your brothers?
Both of my brothers, yes.
Years before, a heart pump was considered a way to keep them alive.
They call me Iron Man because of all of it.
Who does?
Everybody, my friends and everybody.
But while Tyler has a good attitude and a bionic nickname, now so does his 15-year-old brother.
Well, if he's Iron Man, who are you?
The Energizer Bunny.
Austin's heart is failing too, and 4 months ago, he got his own backpack and an implanted heart pump too.
He gives me courage, and then when he's down, I give him courage. We got to do this, we're brothers. We got to get through this.
Without this LVAD, would you have him?
No. There's no way. I'm just really blessed. I just wish I'd have had that option with my brothers.
Now these two brothers do have a fighting chance. The only two brothers in the world walking this battery-powered journey together. In Porter, Kevin Reece, KHOU 11 News. And texting while driving is a no-brainer. We all know it's dangerous, and a life-changing brain injury is where this story is going to take us, because if there is a poster boy for the dangers of texting while driving, it's this guy. His name is Chance Bodie. He was a 21-year-old college student headed home and texting. And one of the last things he typed was this: "I need to quit texting because I could die in a car accident." Seconds later, Chance Bodie plunged off a bridge and into a ravine.
I said, call the funeral home. He'll never make it.
His dad found a son with a broken neck, a crushed face, a fractured skull, and traumatic brain injuries.
And we lost him 3 times. They brought him back. He coded 3 times.
And now, 6 months later...
Yes, I was text messaging on the phone, flew right off the road.
About 80% of Chance Bodie is back.
I'm very lucky that I'm not gone forever, that I still have things to do on this world.
Lift up and down. Good job.
He talked to us on his last day of rehab at Tier Memorial Herman, where he learned to talk and walk again, because his message is as obvious as the scars on his reconstructed face.
They just need to understand, don't do it. Don't do it. Your life, it's not worth losing your life. I went to my grandmother's funeral not long ago, and I kept thinking, it kept jumping into my head, I'm surprised that's not me up in that casket. I came very close to that, to being gone forever.
If I had a kid 16 years old starting to drive, they could have a phone, but the texting feature wouldn't be on it. That's how strongly I believe it. It about took him.
Crunch forward.
And now he'll take his second chance to tell the world not to text and drive. And Chance Bodie is headed home to Grenada tonight. That's 30 miles west of Wharton, where this accident happened. And doctors at Tier tell us he is not an isolated incident by any means. In fact, they are seeing more and more injuries where a cell phone and texting were at the heart of that accident. Kevin Reece, KHOU 11 News.